Beautiful. Well, Rupert, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Man, when I first saw this piece, I couldn't help but think, what contrast? I mean, you really turned it up with this one. What was the concept for this? What were your references? Just let me in on how this came to be.
Sure. So what I received with the brief, kind of like a mood board with some first ideas from MIKA and his creative director. And there were some different routes, also, some modern references and also some some, I don't want to say older, but like some bit longer ago, like the Talking Heads video, for example. And also there was references from a music video I did as well in it for Foster the People last year, which was also cool to see like my own reference in there. And I think which also made them like interested in working with me because they saw that video. And it was, a lot of like really like minimalistic graphic stuff, like high contrast. That was a bit already in there, which really appealed to me. And then obviously with the title of Modern Times, I also looked in Charlie Chaplin's Modern Times and thought like, this could be cool to put that in a bit as well. So we rebuilt the lever you see here. It's like a one-on-one replica of Charlie Chaplin's Modern Times.
Amazing.
And we didn't, because I was like, let's make it more minimalistic. But then I saw that the lever in Charlie Chaplin's Modern Times also has a really like minimalistic, really cool, like timeless design, which I think is really interesting. We built that. Our set design team did that, which was great.
This is something that I think really stands out is you've really built these amazing set pieces, right? And you've like stretched them and made them bigger and smaller. I mean, just kind of tell me about your approach to some of these amazing pieces that you built.
Yeah, so that was the idea, to create kind of like a really minimalistic but strong and contrasty world, and also treat the different elements or the different shots also kind of like puzzle pieces. I also edit all music videos. I direct myself, so that also helps because I kind of know like this we will shoot this and then I will edit it in the top corner and you know. So I had of course a lot of ideas on how to put stuff together in post-production, but also that's also something I really like and something really interesting, that a certain percentage, I would say not even that small, I would even say like 20 or 30%, then comes to life in post-production, basically, when I have this shot and I'm like, wouldn't it, like I play around a lot. And you know, here we shot, for example, the wheels, the turning wheels. And then I played around where to put them and how to not make the image too crowded. So all of that, it was a really like playful, intuitive approach, I would say, to deal with that.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. I mean, I imagine once you get like your gear elements, you can kind of put them anywhere you want. You seem to have like shaped this thing to where you can kind of do whatever you want in the edit.
Totally. That was really beautiful. And yeah, like putting it wherever it makes sense or where it feels good, and working with like showing only one in the beginning and then there's more and it gets bigger. And also this was also an idea that was there in the beginning, that we want to make him run like in a hamster wheel also. So we figured out a way how to build the wheel without having like a rod or something. So cool. Yeah, I mean, we have it, but we made it green so we can key it out. And I wanted to say that's also really beautiful, because when we're discussing like, do we really need to build a wheel and 3D print it and sand it and color it? That's like a lot of work. And someone was saying like, we can do that as a 3D element, no problem. But I think, of course, you can do it really well in 3D too. But those tiny details of like the light reflection when it turns, or the screw in the middle that also like reflects the light in this, these things are really hard to nail when you just computer generate it. So that's why, I try to push to do as much as we can in camera. The initial idea was even to work a lot, like in my initial treatment, I had one page talking about like forced perspective and building these smaller elements and putting them close to the camera, and the dancers are far away, so it looks like they are in the wheel or something. So the initial idea would have been to even do even more in camera and work with forced perspective a lot. But then we faced some difficulties, like our DP, Matthias Heldopler, he did like a mathematical analysis of how big the studio is, how much light we have, and came to the conclusion that we would need more, like a bigger space and more lights for the forced perspective to work. So we did a little bit still, but
you still did a little bit. But you said originally you had planned to do more forced perspective stuff.
Exactly. And now like the workaround to not doing as much forced perspective is basically, as we see here, shooting the hand as one shot, shooting him on the... I mean, this basically is forced perspective. We could, if we wanted to, we could have shot it at one shot, as one frame. But this was just like masking and putting the hand in there. That's how a lot of shots are built. Like it's all something that was shot real in the studio and then put together. Exactly.
That's amazing. What was your lighting approach to this? I mean, yes, it's high contrast, but things aren't fully silhouette, which I think is really cool that you did some of this practical, because you could have, you could have done this with VFX or in post or animation, but it's not a full silhouette. You're seeing a lot of these details. What was your lighting approach?
Yeah, so the idea was to create this high contrast silhouette look, but also not make them look like cut out full silhouettes, like that we still feel a little bit of the light like wrapping around them a little bit, or still like maybe not losing the human connection completely, so they're not like just shapes, but we still see humans moving around. This was, I think, something that was really important to me as well, because it's such a constructed reality and such a clean and simplistic look, to make sure it still lives in a way. And I think that was also the reason why it was so important to not do any computer generated elements and build the wheel and
I mean, you so could have done
totally. Yeah, it would have been easier, but I think those details, it just makes a difference.
Yeah, I mean, and just with each shot, there's clear emphasis. Like my eye knows exactly where to go for each of these shots.
Yeah, it's true. And also, when you asked about the light, so that was also part of the concept to mix color and black and white.
Yeah.
And we did a lot of testing also, especially for those light switches. This actually is funny, because that the light that we switch from black and white to color here this decision was made in post. Like the initial idea was just he switches the light on and off. And then also when I played around with it in the editing, I think even it was a mistake that the color LUT was still on top of the black and white, something like that. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. I think that's cool. And I love that in the process when that happens, that like from a mistake or something, or you try around and you move something and then suddenly you realize you have an idea that wouldn't have come just out of the blue, right? You need the process kind of to get there.
Yeah, so this wasn't a lighting cue in this shot in particular. This was just the grade.
No. I mean, it was a lighting cue. We had like the light switching. So I didn't mean that we made the effect in post, but I meant that the effect should have been just like light going on and off, but not switching between color and black and white. This element of it was like the post decision.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, you've got some really cool lighting cues in this whole piece. I think that's like one of the most important things you paint with.
Yes.
Tell me about your approach to this and your team behind it. And
I mean, this shot in particular, I remember, that we have one setting where there are silhouettes and the background is lit, and then we have one where they are lit and the background is dark, which took a bit of testing because they are like in a kind of a V formation, so it wasn't easy to hit them all with a ray of light from the side at the same time. So I remember that took quite some time on set I think we added another profiling light and moved them a bit around so they can keep their formation but still being hit by the light. And also that was also part of the concept. A lot of things are like going back and forth. Like there's a lot of repetition, or also the light is going on and on, kind of, trying to pick that up from the song itself, which is like the verse is really like kind of repetitive and kind of harsh, and then the chorus of the song opens up a bit more. And like the song, it talks about like big themes in a way, like life and how there's like how we're basically caught in a treadmill of life at the one hand, but still like there's still like a resilience against that, or some wish for more, for something bigger, and that influenced that as well, like to show the part of being like kind of trapped in your everyday life machinery through this repetitive movement.
If you keep on running out of bed just before our lives become.
This shot's cool. I really like what you did here.
This I also liked, and this was also so great to work with Mika because he has such a great energy in front of the camera and just gives, like, you put him in there, and the idea was to do one where he opens his eye. And also another thing that was made in post, because I didn't really like, I planned that this is the first shot where he opens his eye, but then in editing was like, it's kind of boring, like eyes is closed and you open the eye and that's how the video starts. I'm like, I don't know if that's the most original. And then actually that was my girlfriend's idea, who I showed the first edit to, and then she was like, you have this cool shot with the lever, and like, and that was also part of the concept, that we have the break of the song where he kind of pulls the lever and ends, like breaks the song, like cuts off the song with it. And so this was already a part of the concept, that he with this lever like kind of controls everything. So she was like, why don't you make him switch like the light on that then appears on his own eye, kind of like that. And then I loved the idea and I tried it and it worked really well. It always feels a bit dangerous. I like to think everything through really precisely. And I also have, like, whenever I shoot something, like not only a shot list, but also like a list where I break down the song, where it says like from second 0 to second 3, we have this shot, from second 3 to second 6, we have this shot. And of course things change, but I think it's really, like, for me, it helps me a lot to have a really precise plan that works in theory, hopefully, but still being like open-minded about it, that you can change things while you go along with it. But I think you need a plan in order to overthrow it and get something better, right? I kind of need that as well to make sure, that we can make everything work, or that I also get the shots that I need for the edits, basically.
For sure. This is a cool setup. I think maybe for me, some of the most iconic shots are of this face hole setup. Tell me about this.
Yeah, this is also interesting because I kind of referenced myself also in the treatment, because I did a music video, I think 4 or 5 years ago, where I also worked with like cardboard cutouts, and we had like little holes where we saw mouths and eyes, and I played a lot around with that as well. And then I was like, I think this fits really well here, and I would love to work again with this kind of cardboard cutout. But of course, I didn't want to do the same thing again that I already did. So I tried to think about how can I like elevate it or make it even more surreal. And then had this idea of basically deconstructing the face and taking all the different parts, like also an ear or the nose, and make kind of like this weird collage of parts of the face. And
that's cool. That's really cool.
MIKA hated it to be in there, but it was worth it. I also like the shot.
Yeah, it's really awesome. Let's talk about your camera setup. I know you're not the DP here, but I think it's always fun to talk about, the eyes that you choose in order to shoot this thing. Like for instance, this shot here, it's a really heavy crash zoom. It's beautiful. What lenses did you shoot with?
Oh God, I'm always so bad at remembering. I mean, we had a really big, I think it was an ingenieux zoom lens, if I'm not remembering wrongly. It was a big zoom lens, and that was also planned from the beginning on to. I expected in the beginning to use it more than we did, but I also like that it's like its moments now in the video, and this one is for this moment I knew from the beginning on that I want this like big crash zoom, it's the break of the song, and I thought so that my first idea was it would be fun to do a cut in the song, and he switches the lever and then the song ends for a second. But then I was like, but I don't want it to be like just, it ends for a second and we wait and then he puts it back on, like something needs to happen. And then, this idea came with like enormous MIKA coming in from the top, and the dancers, because they are frozen, kind of, because he also like deactivated them with the lever, they can't move, but then they look up, and it's, I think one of the team calls it the Jurassic Park moment, like kind of the big dinosaurs on top of you, and I love it because it's just a good mix of like, it's funny, it's like a comedic element, but also feels a bit haunting or daunting or whatever the right word is. And we did it in the sound design also to make this creaky metal, like he's really this giant head. That was also super fun to play. Yeah, and I think the crash zoom, I think the crash zoom really adds to that, because if it just would be a cut, I don't know. I think the crash zoom enhances also the comedy, the subtle comedy in this moment in a way.
Yeah, I mean, there's also just this really mechanical, clunky feeling that you've carried, whether it's like the sound design or that crash zoom. I think is part of that.
Totally, and I think what also worked super well is that you hear, like I put that in for the sound design. I was like, maybe it could be fun if you hear the actual camera zoom sound, and because everything is so quiet, so you would hear it. So I put that there, and it worked really well that you not even that you also hear the crash zoom.
I think it's decisions like that make this thing feel so cohesive. Let's talk about this curtain scene in general. I mean, it's a pretty principal part of the video? Like, you seem to shoot a lot of it, and go back and forth, black and white. Did you know that this scene was going to be kind of an important thread throughout the video?
Yes, it was. I think in the treatment, it was even the main set or the main backdrop. So it was it was kind of clear from the beginning on that it will be one of the main settings. And I think the goal was also to have, on the one hand, this like kind of endless open space in the studio, like this abstract world of just white or orange, and then create a bit of a more like a confined space with the curtain. And I think like curtains are really like classic element, like but also I think just really timeless and beautiful. So
timeless.
And also what was also in the initial brief for the music video was they want to create like a dramatic video that feels like big in a way, or has some dramatic elements. So I think it also just made sense to include that. And it's a great way of also working with the hands coming out. I remember I saw one reference image where I saw a curtain that was cut into several stripes, because usually you have like the one gap in the middle, right?
Right.
But then I also thought like, it could be cool to create several stripes of curtain to get the hands like not only in the middle gap but on the side as well. So we played around with that as well. Yeah,
I love it. So like the location overall, we're talking one studio, but it has these different elements, these different rooms, and you kind of went in and set all those up at the same time to then move around and shoot with them. Is that how it worked?
No, it was actually just one studio space, and we had 2 shoot days, which was definitely important.
Nice.
So, for example, we set the curtain up. That was actually the first thing we shot, and then took it down. Then we shot the empty studio exactly, and then in the end, I think we brought in the pedestal and the little stair element, but it was more like everything was ready on the side, and we just brought in what we needed.
Cool.
I was worried a bit in the beginning that the studio is maybe too small, and we tried to get a bigger one, but it was booked. And I remember that in the pre-production there was like I think a week of everyone in the team, or like production DP and me, we were all being like really nervous, like is it big enough? But we thought, and we tried this, we called this other studio I think 4 times to try like maybe if you when you're done on Sunday, can we already? And I think they were a bit fed up because we called them so many times. But I also thought like, we need a super big studio. But then now in hindsight, it was more than enough. And also the only thing that came with it is that for some shots, we needed to do like ceiling extension, like digital extension of the ceiling. But otherwise, it worked perfectly. And I think in hindsight, a way, way bigger studio also has new difficulties, like you need more light, and so I think it was good to do it like that.
Yeah, for the size of the place that you guys actually shot in, I mean, it just feels infinite when you look at the final work.
And this is a funny story as well, because in the very first treatment I had a reference image in where it was kind of like a really long light, also in the studio, like a really long shadow, a super long shadow. And I thought it would be so cool to do something with that. And then when we had this studio, we all agreed like we can't do it in this studio. It doesn't, like, it's not big enough. And this setup, also the shot next to it with where the light moves across him, we actually did this for a shot that didn't land in the video. Like we also built a little cardboard cutout, like kind of these arches that we wanted to put him in, and the light moves through the arches, and we have this shadow play, like we recorded it, and I tried it in post. It theoretically, I think it would have even worked, but it was just too much. I had the feeling like not bring in another setting. But the beauty was when we did that, we reached a moment where we had the long shadow on him. And then I was like, wait a moment, I can easily like mask the shadow, like mask out the middle part, make it way bigger and make him smaller. And that's the shot in the, what's in the video now is that basically the shadow is just a little bigger than him, but it was surprisingly easy to create that dimension because it really looks like a enormously big studio, but it's just the same room.
Wow. I mean, when you get a studio like this, the weather's not changing, you know, you have variables, but they're different variables. What do you decide to shoot first? Why did you shoot the curtain scene first?
That just had the practical reason of, because we also had a pre-light day and it was very tricky to set up the curtain that every, how do you call it? The lines when you move it together.
Mm-hmm.
So that it's evenly, that it hangs evenly and has a nice even surface and it's not like messy or crinkly. So that just took some time to set up and it was just easier to do that on pre-light and then take it out rather than building it on the day.
I gotta say the vibes on set looking at this BTS look prime. They look awesome. I mean, how was your schedule like? No one seems stressed out in this footage.
I'm so happy that you picked that up from watching the BTS because I have to say it was, I don't know, we had such a good time on set and of course I was like also a bit nervous because it was definitely one of the biggest music video shoots so far in my career. So I was also like, I hope the vibe is good and we have a lot to shoot, but it shouldn't be too stressful. And that's also like, apart from the preparation of shot list and all that, I think that's another very important part of the preparation, pre-production to just select the team and having a good vibe on set is something that's really important to me. On the one hand, because it's beautiful if everyone has a good time, but also because I kind of needed to be able to work well, because when there's some how do you say it, like this unnecessary human energy dynamics, or someone feels that he needs to bring in some power dynamics or has a fragile ego or whatever, I think that brings so much, that clutters like the brain, and then you think about that instead of the next shot you want to shoot, right? So I think it's just in every way always better and beautiful to have a relaxed vibe on set. So of course that's also what I try to create, but also obviously it's not only on me, but I think I try to just stay calm as much as I can and also have fun. And I think, and the good thing is when I wrote the concept, I really wrote it like I will put everything in there that I would love to see happening on set, rather than trying to find out what they want. And I mean, also, of course, it felt good that they told me like they saw my Foster the People video and really liked it, and that's why. So I there was kind of like some trust already there, but then it was basically easy to have fun because it was a great team, and also MIKA was just a super nice and relaxed guy.
That's certainly helpful. The artist's energy in a music video always has so much to do with the energy of the set.
Totally. And he was super appreciative with everyone as well, because I think that's also, if you have the feeling like they don't really give a shit and don't appreciate what's happening here, that always brings the team down a little bit. But in this case, luckily, it was really the opposite. And
that's awesome.
Super nice.
I love that. You said this was one of the biggest projects you've ever had. I know what that's like. You know, I feel like I learn a little extra on the things that are the biggest. Maybe it's just because I'm more stressed and I remember. Right. But why do you say that? What about this project was one of the biggest for you?
I mean, mostly the size of the artist, or the how well. No, I think because I started with like shooting music videos for friends and working for other Austrian bands. But I think it kind of, the pressure was automatically a bit higher because I knew more people will see it than, for example, like a music video for an Austrian band that I shot 5 years ago, which of course was also a great experience, but just in terms of like, and now also there's a label and a management, and you never know how much they want to be involved. Luckily, they gave us a lot of freedom. But yeah, just in terms of, I think it's mostly the size of the artist that kind of
of course,
defines that.
100%. What's something that you learned, that you took away from this one?
Oh, I think there's a lot, but also I think it's just another learning to trust your gut feeling and go along, because also like, I think on the one hand, kind of like a style, if you want, that I developed over the years that I can also rely on a little bit, but also on the other hand, every shoot is a new shoot, and there's always like the doubt of like, oh, what now? Is this shot cool enough? What if I fuck this up? What if, it's okay also, or important also, to trust what you think is right and works. And that's the mean thing about it. You will always only see it in hindsight in the editing room, like, oh yeah, this would work, it didn't. But I mean, that's basically the only thing you can do, to just trust it. And
I mean, we all have those shoots, I think, that sometimes like everything goes actually really well, nothing really big broke. You know, you look back on, you get done with the day and you go, man, that was a good day, a good shoot. But sometimes when I feel that way, I also feel like, oh, does that mean it's going to be good? Like, is it going to turn out the way I want it? Because
totally.
We're so used to like something breaking or it being a big stressful shoot in order for it to be good. I mean, do you feel that ever?
I mean, of course, it's like two separated things, that the shoot day feeling great doesn't mean that you have a great result. Mm-hmm. But I mean, in this case, I think what was way more stressful in this part was the pre-production, also the post-production. Like the post-production, we didn't. I mean, we had so little time, which was super stressful. I don't know, like I cannot really take a learning from that, because the learning is just like, it would have been great if there was more time. But I think we had like 6 or 7 days for the whole post, like editing, VFX and color. This all happened in like a week, which in this case was especially crazy because I think almost every shot was a VFX shot. Like, of course, some were just like putting the wheel there, but there were a lot of VFX and comp rotoscoping shots, and then so post was intense, little sleep.
I'm sure.
And then the pre-production, had its hiccups with like finding the right studio and being nervous about the studio and all that. But the shoot itself, was really smooth. Was that the question? Like,
oh no, I think I actually don't think I asked you a question. Speaking of which, I'm out of them. Do you have anything else that you'd like to say about this project?
I don't know. Like, I think it's a good note, also an ending, to just mentioning that it was a beautiful shoot with beautiful people, and a really playful approach. I think those are my favorite projects, where it's just a playful approach, and there's a little bit of surrealism or a little bit of some kind of visual magic, and I don't know, I think that brings out like the inner child in me to like basically do what I already did in my bedroom as a 13-year-old, but on a bigger stage, basically.
Well, I tell you, man, that playful approach really came through in the final work.
I'm so happy to hear that.
It's a beautiful piece. Thanks so much for jumping on to break it down with me.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. It was great to talk.